This short clip is from my live trading room. You can engage directly with my fabulous team and me at LaDucTrading.com for all our research and trades. Or for just my daily live streams, you can access via YouTube memberships. All links are in the description. Palantir. So remember I said this is the place where it bounces. 4 levels of support at this 148 into earnings. Would not surprise me if it hits its head on 161. Well, it hit its head on the 30-week. But very important, the 10 and 21 are crossing over. This is your channel right here. 161, weekly close above, it's bullish. 148, weekly close below, it's bearish. Right now on a daily, you can also see where it bounced perfectly and is getting sold off on Q. We still have a tech slowdown. Remember the same ones I've been showing forever, even after earnings? App, look at this gorgeousness, right down to that 465 and falling. So this is still falling, 465, and the next is 452, depending on how you're trailing. Hood is a disaster. It was a perfect evening star reversal up here, and I said if it breaks, because it was a doji on a monthly, very foreboding, especially with it being so extended from its mean, which is the 10-month. It came inside that 143. We've hit this twice. This 106 after the bounce, it was another reshort bounce, and then it gaps down below. So dangerous. So Hood is in trouble. So I went over that rant yesterday. Hood is now below the 200-day. App is also below the 200-day. Hood has a little bit more favorability on the short side because 85 is monthly support, and that's likely where it has a little bit of digestion. But like I went over yesterday, there are a lot of levers short on Hood, and app is not looking particularly supportive on a weekly either. So I would say you could press that one. And we already talked about Palantir. Why isn't it showing up? There it is. Just needs to stay underneath that 160-140, and I think you're good to press further. We talked about SoFi. It is on the 200, sort of kind of bouncing around. It looks like a Palantir waiting to happen. So you don't want it to get back above 24.65. That was the critical level it needed to break. It did. It's sitting here. It's out of earnings. It's looking very weak. So Palantir continues also to roll over. Just sitting on the 200-day does it not make it safe, but you short into the 200-day. And you keep it running for when it keeps going. And it's going. So these are obviously nice. Tesla, despite news of this mammoth IPO, largest in history, yada, 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 it is still only sitting on that 414.5, and it had the same exact structure as a Palantir and an app with a gap down. I'm bearish. So I still do not have hope that this is going to move higher in this growth sell-off. Palantir has proven it has not the staying ability. It's kind of baked into the price, Tesla, hoopla, all that jazz. So just be careful. These are some of the ones that I also wrote up yesterday, obviously, so you can review. Tech shorts, they just haven't stopped. Oracle did its bond offering. Let's go over that. Netflix, it's sitting at the April lows. These you must know we've gone over every single day. I regret not going over coin. The one that is mine that has not rolled over yet is Avgo. So we're still waiting for, I think, some kind of news. But let me just go over Oracle. No bottom yet. I've got 146, or the 200-day is basically right here. See the orange down here on the weekly? And same thing, Netflix is just soggy bottom boy right here at that 82. Sad state of affairs. Spotify, which had fallen with Netflix beautifully, I would show you, there it is also not holding the 506. We're having a little issue. I mean, even PayPal getting dumped right back down into 44.52 is showing you how, whether it has Bitcoin on the balance sheet or it's a software darling, I don't care what, or celebrity investors, it's not doing well in this background at all. Carvana also just holding out here. It's not high conviction. It keeps testing this 401, and this is accident waiting to happen. Except this one has earnings on 218. So again, we're still waiting for 401 for the next leg lower in Carvana, and Microsoft is on critical support at 421. Is it getting supported? No. I already wrote up my gut about a pullback in February. All right. Dow, these are the value longs that are working like gangbusters. Okay, these have been in play for a few weeks. I'm just showing you the chart so you can see it for yourself. We have come back up this 10 and 21. We got above monthly. We consolidated here. We did not break that 25.77. We're now breaking above the 50-week in Dow, even if it shouldn't, even if petrochemicals are completely down and out. This is a protracted downtrend with source of funds reverting into value plays. We went with its cousin, LYB. This is slow to launch, but it is on massive oversold bounce territory, in my humble opinion. I didn't catch it, but AT&T had a stupendous candle last week, and I did note Verizon. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's got to get up to 45, and then it's got to get up above 45 because that's the 400 week. Well, it's working on it. So the one that I saw yesterday that has not caught up is Comcast, and I don't know if this is a LaDuc play, but it's a great looking, heavily indebted, but also heavily entrenched, asset-rich infrastructure play. Yay, I love those. All right, so that's Comcast, and it's slowly coming up. Anyway, I wrote that one up yesterday. That was a new one yesterday. You got Comcast now. Let's see if we can get some follow-through. Earnings are obviously not until April, so we have time. I want you to look at FedEx being at all-time highs, a freak of nature. This is on a weekly. If you recall, it had a horrible channel breakdown that we caught perfectly, this evening star reversal. Oh my God, it was gorgeous. It came back above the 400 week, which is critical, and then it just up and to the right, 45-degree angle, hit the monthly, came back in, got above, screams higher. This is ridiculous. Now look at UPS. This is an all-time highs. This was recommended in November, back down here. This was like October, and I'm like, oh my God, look at this, look at this. So in November, it stabilized, and then it started to move higher. Remember my whole theme, value is going to outperform growth. That was at end of November, the 26th, the 28th. This one took off really, in my book anyway, not until December, but it had already proven that it was going to. And then did this gorgeous consolidation. Anyway, long story short, look at this beauty. UPS is so oversold. And look at this left shoulder, head, right shoulder. UPS is one of my favorites still. From then to now, it doesn't look like it's advanced a lot on percentage terms, but there is a gorgeous trend reversal in the making here. Even if you don't like Dow because of the space it's in, or LYB, and they all look the same, you definitely have this value rotation that's still in play. All right, another one that I really liked, two of them, Constellation, alcohol, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I wrote this one up. It's doing great. Look at that. That was the chase price target. Now it's sat here for almost a month, not quite. Okay, 3 weeks because we'll know on Tuesday. Point is, this is doing awesome. ODFL is my other fave. Why? 400 week. That's it. You're gorgeous. You're good to go. Looks great to me. It's consolidating. Then it did this. So don't be afraid when it goes into consolidation. That's okay. It's when it gets too extended from its mean, then you know you're going to have a reversion to the mean type trade, like we had in silver, like we had in Intel, that kind of stuff. So you've also got stuff that I had counted out because it was taking too long, and then it turned around and went hot fire flames in December, but this was recommended in November. Remember that? Long story short, right before it failed, it did this. Boom. And the same thing with PM. Just before, this was also a November treat, a complete 180. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's taking forever. And then this happens. The point is, when they get noticed, it's gone. Same thing with Procter & Gamble. This one has a lot of room, I think. But remember why I like this. Procter & Gamble, also you get some XLP rotation, which was a very, very key part of this. You also have entrenched industries. You can't replace them very easily, yada, yada. This 400 week critical, had to get above, let's call it 147, critical. It's still slowly moving higher. It hasn't spiked yet. And look at that 200 descending. It's got to flatten out, and that will then be able to move forward. I want to show you XLP. This is XLP. This is called source of funds. They leave it. They go into AI stuff. Then they leave AI and they go into XLP stuff. Does it deserve this outsized performance? It is now all-time highs, isn't it? Yes, it's all-time highs. Look at this. I know this is an ugly chart, but look at this. So you're having some outperformance here in XLP and rotation out of XLK. It's not really showing up as much, but they're not buying. They're buying XLP. Now it's a little above its skis. So it should go sideways. Remember when XLV did that? XLV broke out finally right here, and then it digested and it broke out again. It's been going sideways. It's still great. And the underlying stocks within this are hot fire flames. But right now, clearly, IYT is in play. XLB is taking a little break last week with the metal sell-off, and today it's right back up there again. So these are my favorite. Oh yeah, XLI. Boring industrials, look at that. Is that boring? There's nothing boring about that. It's all-time highs. So boring industrials, boring materials, boring transports, boring staples, stuff that you could not give away when they were chasing software, semi, and AI ecosystem. You couldn't give it away. XLE is a pause. XLE is fine. Also all-time high, value, a pause. Cisco is still fabulous. We're already at 82. That is a momentous day. I have a funny story. My lawyer for years, Edna Conway, a small business lawyer, she worked at Cisco and then she went out on her own practice, and then she had all these options that were underwater for many, many years. And as she's getting closer to retirement, she moves to Seattle and she works for Microsoft. And she finally, not only made money on the Microsoft, but she finally got her Cisco back to break even. Anyway, the point is, this is a fabulous continuation theme, in my humble opinion, where this will go 80 to 100 in time. So it's working fine. It just hit its prior 1999 high. Congratulations, all those who held. Yes, Nike is just a laggard, but I still think this is a rounding. Degree of descent has slowed, hence the leaps. Lockheed is now needing to digest. It is all-time highs. It needed that 508, and this is extended. So when you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of green right here, typically it turns into this type of thing. 7 weeks of green, and then you get a red just for digestion. So yes, the Boeing warning was we would come back down into 235. Be careful. I can still see 225, but nonetheless, it's 7 weeks of green. Needs to take a chill pill for a little bit. Fast is another one that I am only suggesting as a channel play. See this channel? Boom, boom. And then this was the Head and Shoulders, very dangerous, gap down. But then after this second, I'm like, I think this is going to do it. I think it's going to actually move higher. So it has just reached the chase, or for whoever was in this, target. I gave it a 45.70. Why? That's the weekly gap down. Now, if it can get back and stay above 45.70, this thing is going to keep going in its little channel until it decides not to. But the point is, it looks good. I've got no issues with this. Rio, it is a commodities play. It's industrial metal and minor, but the price target was this 71.35. And I said, as long as it can pull back shallow and get above, we're good to go. And even with the big metal upset, I said, I'm not worried about copper. I'm not worried about copper at all. So MT is also steel. That was my go-to, as you know. I really liked this 37.55, but it had to get and stay above 37.55. And guess what? It took a few weeks and it never broke that 10-week. So it's gorgeous. AA, this is in consolidation post earnings, and it already had set up the weakness. And then it has been not too weak. Not too weak means it hasn't even come back down to the 10-week EMA, but Alcoa looks like it could, and you need to protect down to that 53 area, which is the 55-day. It also looks like it's forming a bull flag in time. So I'm still fond of that one. Long story short, the value longs are really working since November. And you can put these little tickers like LMT and up here, and I wrote about it, or Avgo. Oh my God, Avgo. So Avgo to me is a short still. There's just no part of me that does not believe this is going to head lower. So Avgo is working great today. It's a bearish engulfing, even on a short duration. You know my price target, I think 308.78 is a fait accompli. After 308.78, it likely overshoots into this trend line neck of the woods around 289, give or take. So you've got 322 right now for Avgo, and I am still not sure if we're going to stop at this monthly level or go right back down into the 50-week. And the 50-week is basically 298, and that's where I'm basically shooting. I think this is going to head down to the 50-week in time. I said I was looking for February for this value rotation and then start petering out, and for March to start having the volatility pulled forward. I think it starts now. This is what I said Thursday morning about the gold and silver sell-off. It starts today. Anyway, long story short, we do have some shake and bake today. Here's the cues. By the way, you remember my price target on the upside was this 631.19. Okay, once we get below it, we've been chopping about, and it looks dramatic, 1% down, but that really isn't how I look at things. I think we have lots of sideways grind while the market's trying to get through earnings. But I also gave yesterday a very specific level. Should we break through and stay below, you get to press short. Do you remember what it was? 618 for the Qs. Still 618 for the Qs. So little shake and bake is one thing, but we get and stay below 618, we're going to have more volatility.
Join Club today to engage with Samantha and her team of 10 experts. Scan this QR code or click the link in the description. Subscribe to LaDuc Trading YouTube channel for more live trading room recap videos and other content.